Just one related question that came up when I was hearing you speak earlier, and maybe this will be beneficial to a lot of people. The idea of the monster bus and all of the good jokes that you can have when you have one of these. Certainly, we've already experienced a number of things that, maybe Esther and Jerry and Lori and I could get together and we could come up with our own version of the RV movie. And you touched on it a little bit. You said, do you really want to share those things for their comedic value? There is some value in the comedic aspect of it and telling your friends all the funny things that happen to you, but you're just going to line up some more of that. So,
well, what that life really is about more than anything, and what draws you to it, what draws them to it also, is that you cannot live in that world and be complacent, because it demands your alertness, it demands your attention. It requires deliberate living, because you cannot become complacent, because no 2 days are the same, which actually cues you up for the way you felt when you came into this experience. Think about it. You came into this body to people you did not know, and you had no way of eating or clothing yourself. Pretty faith-based birth, don't you think? You said, "Wee!" And then right after that you said, "Oh my God, what have I done?" So what we're getting at is that when you realize that you're not looking for stability to be a creator, because the stability is a given, because the stream is only a stream of well-being. It's all that it is. Jerry said to Esther, because the monster bus experience is a big experience, there are many components of it that require some attention before you get good at it. And Jerry said to Esther, often, in fact, every day and sometimes more than once a day, everything always works for us. That is really the mantra that you know from the non-physical experience. Everything works for me. The stream is only a stream of well-being. I don't walk into a room and look for a dark switch. There's not a switch that I flip that makes inky, misty darkness cover up the light. There's only a stream of well-being that flows. And when I get in alignment with it, well-being flows, you see. And so this is the thing that we've seen in Jerry and Esther, that life on the road has really given them the benefit of, is that they cannot rest on their laurels of past creation. They must, in the moment, be focused upon what they are wanting. And the universe always delivers. In fact, if there is a glitch, it is minor and insignificant in the greater stream of things. They came back from their last run. They were gone 5 months, and they traveled over 10,000 miles on this trek around the nation. And they said to each other, mile after mile after mile, the roads have been good, the roads have been clear, the bus seems to take the bumps out of the road, the weather has cooperated, the parks have been magnificent, the neighbors that we've met have been wonderful, the seminars have been extraordinary. In other words, they just keep milking the positive aspects of what's been happening. And the more they acknowledge how good it's been going, the better it goes. And the more they acknowledge how good it is going, the better it goes.
Right.
Until you just begin to develop this rhythm of life. So it doesn't matter what city you're in. It doesn't matter if you're in your bus or in your house. It doesn't matter if you're in your car. It doesn't matter if you're with the people you know or with strangers. It doesn't matter if you're with your grandchildren or somebody else's grandchildren. It just doesn't matter. The specifics of your life just keep working out, because the promise of your life is that it always will. So your expectation for good results becomes the basis of your vibrational patterning. And hear this. When the basis of your life, which is the vibration that you're emitting in any moment, has been practiced into positive expectation, now you have the experience of being able to explore the new adventurous realm from this place of positive expectation. Do you know how good that is? Most people can only explore a little bit with an expectation of things turning out well, because they only know what will turn out well in the small arena that they can control, which is a very small, actually non-existent arena. When you get out there, when you allow yourself to stretch and reach into places that you've not been before, from this basic knowledge or attitude that things always work out for you, that is exactly the way you felt when you made the decision to come into this body. You said, I don't know the people that I'm going to be born to precisely. I don't know what their mood or attitude is going to be today or day by day. But I do know that the well-being of this time-space reality is secure because I know the laws of the universe. And I know my source will always be calling me. And I know that eventually, by trial and error, I'll figure out which way to go. And we say, and now you've figured it out. Now you know about your guidance system. Now you know who you are. Now you know what the feeling of becoming is. Now you know what the feeling of becoming and not letting yourself go with it feels like. And you know what the feeling of becoming and letting yourself go with feels like. You know what downstream feels like. You know what upstream feels like. You've got it all. You know everything. So now you can experience the adventure of life. You can get out there in your bus or in your RV or in your car or in your camper, in your whatever you want. You can get out there on the rapids. You can go all around the world. You can go to every country. You can explore the boundaries of this magnificent time-space reality with this knowledge that well-being is yours, you see. No longer timid and hiding and staying in caves or staying at home. No longer living the narrow life of not being able to explore because I'm afraid of this or this. No longer being afraid to buy something for fear I can't afford it, or that I can't have something because I can't afford it, or I shouldn't say something because it might offend somebody. In other words, I'm in alignment with who I am, and now I'm free, finally free. Free of the only thing that ever bound me, which was resistance. Because now, no matter where I am, I know how to turn downstream. No matter what condition, no matter who I'm with, no matter what, I know how to turn downstream. Which means now I am finally have returned to who I am. And when you make that turn, that vibrational escrow, we've seen it. You're going to love what unfolds for you.
I'm looking for clarity. I've had a lot of experience of being able to create and attract what I want. And now I'm feeling like I want to move more like with connection with God. I'm looking for people that, can kind of guide me and teach me, like, what is that connection really like? And how do I get there? And I keep getting these mixed stories. Like, one story is where, this whole life, this whole experience, all these things we're creating is just illusion. And we're always connected with God. And so you just need to focus your attention on God and, get back there.
We don't disagree with that version of it, but the question that we would ask if someone told us that is, how do I know where God is? Because there are thousands of churches on this planet that all describe God and the path to God in different ways. So
confusing.
So how do I know? And we say, listen for the call of source. And you say, well, I would like to do that, but what does it sound like? And we say, well, if you're depressed, the call of source is going to sound like revenge. You say, oh, well, that can't be good. And we say, but if you feel like revenge, the call of source is going to sound like anger. You say, well, it still doesn't sound all that good. And we say, well, if you're angry, the call of source is going to sound like less anger. And you say, well, that still doesn't sound all that good. And we say, well, if you're angry, the call of source is going to sound like frustration or overwhelmment. You say, well, it still doesn't sound like source. And we say, well, if you're overwhelmed or frustrated, the call of source is going to sound like hope. You say, oh, hope. That sounds a little more godlike. And we say, and if you're in hope, the call of source is going to sound like optimism, believing, knowing, appreciation, love. And you say, well, now it sounds like source. And we say, well, source is in the ear of the perceiver. In other words, you can't set your radio dial on 630 and hear what's being broadcast on 98. Your frequencies have to match up. And if your frequency's over here where you've been beating the drum of what you don't want, source never stops calling you. But the closer, when we come back from segment of refreshment, we're going to show you how to follow your bliss. But sometimes you can't get a whiff of bliss. And we want you to understand that it is quite enough to just get turned in the direction of bliss, of God, of source. Because when you stop doing that, the stream will turn you. It is the most natural, loving, yielding, wide, always giving, ever-present stream. The path to that which you call God is not a hard path. Pleasing those people that need you to control conditions so that they can feel better, that's the path you can't follow, you see. But that is not the path to God. This art of allowing meeting is about us standing where you want to be, where the larger part of you is, And we'll use every trick in our book to call you over here, to where all the stuff you want, all of the experience, all that you are is. It's our desire to help you to realize that the majority of you, the larger part of you, is non-physical. Do you get that? This physical you that seems so compelling and important, so all important to you, is a part of that which you are. But the larger part of that which you are is non-physical and has expanded because of your physical experience. And that's why when your life causes you to become something and then you don't let yourself really become it, you feel unfulfilled. When your life causes you to ask for things and you don't optimistically move in the direction of them, you feel rotten. And the reason you do is because you're not letting you be that which the larger part of you has become. See how it works? Doesn't this explain to you in one fell swoop every negative emotion you've ever had? Can't you feel how that negative emotion that feels like unfulfillment or guilt or blame or anger or fear or despair, how every one of those negative emotions is about you just not letting yourself be up to speed with that which you have become? Doesn't it explain why when you were little and you tried to explain to your parents or to whoever was listening that you knew what you were doing but they didn't believe you? Doesn't that explain your frustration? Doesn't it explain to you how you know you're right? Esther remembers her father saying, "You just think you're so damn right." And Esther would think to herself, she was smart enough not to say it, she would think to herself, "I think I'm right because I am right. I feel that way because I can't feel otherwise." We know it won't be easy because you've been listening to the peanut gallery for a long time now. But we want you to turn off those navigational systems that are coming to you from the outside and start listening for the call of source, which always consistently, every single time, feels like a feeling of relief. And sometimes you have to feel around. You have to think some thoughts, think this thought, feel how it feels, then think this thought, feel how it feels, then think this one, this one, this one, this one. But mess around with it until you find a thought of relief. And when you find it, smile. I've turned in the stream, and that's all I have to do. I've turned in the stream. Here's the sentence. I've turned in the stream, and that's enough. It has to be enough because it's all you can do. I've turned in the stream, and that's enough. It's not only enough, it's all I need to do. It's not only enough, it's not only all I need to do, it's all I can do. All I can do is turn in the stream. I've turned in the stream, and that's enough. That's the way you make peace with where you are. You make peace with where you are by acknowledging, well, here I am, and what I want may be way downstream, but here I am, and all I have to do, I don't have to get all the way downstream. All I have to do is get pointed in the right direction. And when I point in the right direction, I'll feel relief. That's your emotional journey. And when you get good at that, you will be a masterful creator that everyone who watches you will stand in amazement at the deftness and speed with which you create things that they have formerly thought, at least for themselves, are impossible. You will begin to demonstrate through the power of your own example that you are a creator that is able to create anything that this life experience has the ability to inspire within you. You will begin to write books. You will begin to say to people, you know what? If this life experience can inspire within me the desire to have it, then this life experience has the wherewithal to deliver it to me in full form and fashion. And they will say, and what's your secret? And you say, I don't get bummed out because it doesn't manifest this red hot minute. I don't feel discouraged when I am away from it when it is not manifesting immediately. I take my satisfaction from knowing that I'm pointed in the direction of it. And I take my satisfaction from knowing the inevitable laws of the universe are taking me to it and it to me. In other words, I trust the laws. I have faith in the laws. And I have knowledge about the way I am utilizing the law. And the better I feel, the better things go. And the worse I feel, the worse things go. And so I am finally taking only emotional journeys. And as I take emotional journeys, everything else falls into place. What do you mean, they say? You're standing in the midst of a health crisis and you feel joyful? Yes, because I know the health crisis is temporary. I know that it is an anomaly. I know that it has nothing to do with who I really am. And that the only reason that I'm in this health crisis is because I've been looking at this and that and this and that and this and that in opposition to what I want. And when I stop doing that, my boat turns and I move in the direction of all things wanted, health being one of them. See how it works?